That's it, lad. Keep the rhythm steady and the beat strong. These Minutemen from Bedford aren't exactly the best marchers.
Aye, sir. But it's not the marching that counts as much as the fighting, eh?
Aye, true, lad. And these men are sharpshooters, a lot of them. Those British redcoats won't have an easy time of it if we meet up with them. And I hear their regulars are coming from Boston. Hey, friend, keep our flag flying high and free. That's it.
Yes, sir. It's a pretty sight, isn't it? The red and gold against the sky.
That it is. And the motto on it, conquer or die, has to be ours now. There can be no other way. Listen. Quiet on the drum for a moment. Company! Halt! Oh, it's the redcoats, all right. Nearing Concord Bridge. We'd better hurry and stop them before they cross. Double march on the drum, lad. Let's go, men. We've got the British to stop. We'll stop them.
We'll not get a chance to do any more burning.
King George made a mistake this time.
It's the story of the American flag. It's also about the great people who made it a flag of freedom.
You mean our flag wasn't just made in a matter of days or weeks?
Oh, no, it wasn't. In fact, it took many years for the Stars and Stripes to come about. For instance, in the first battle of the Revolutionary War, the Minutemen carried a flag of crimson and gold with the words on it, "Conquer or Die."
That happened over 200 years ago. I can just about see in my mind, Aunt Sue, the British soldiers coming to the bridge, their red coat tails flapping behind them, their muskets ready, all marching in time to the drum.
And on the other side of the wooden bridge come the Minutemen, running without much order, but ready to fight to the finish.
Quick, let's get back to the story. What's the title?
I call today's story
The Spirit of the Stars and Stripes.
Halt, men!
The redcoats aren't stopping, sir.
We'll just stay on this side and wait. Maybe they won't come across.
But they're the British regulars, sir. They won't frighten easily.
Nor will we. We're fighting for our freedom while they're only doing their duty and following orders. Doing their duty well, yes, but we have much more to lose. Ready, men? Now don't fire until I give the word. We won't fire unless they do.
Let's stop them now, sir. They're within rifle range.
Just like a wall of red coming toward us.
Better turn back.
But they won't.
No,
We'll stand our ground, men. But let's not fire the first shot. Who fired that shot? Get under cover, men.
I'll stay by our flag, sir.
Brave lad.
The redcoats aren't running or finding cover, just closing ranks and marching forward.
Oh, you can't say they're not brave. Let them have it, men.
They've stopped. Let's get after them.
We'll talk them all the way back to Boston.
I'm afraid there's no turning back after this. It's war with Britain as much as we don't want it. But now, come, lads. Bring the flag, beat the drum. It's freedom we want, and it's freedom we'll fight for.
More battles between the Americans and British followed, and more flags flew. There were flags that had a picture of the pine tree on it, typical of the forests of America. Some had a form of the rattlesnake, showing that the Americans would not be stepped on without fighting back. In fact, there were so many different flags that the 13th Continental Congress, meeting in Philadelphia, decided to do something about it. And they did, on June 14th, 1777. Today, we remember that date as Flag Day.
Well, I think that's a good idea for a flag.
Gentlemen of Congress, we must deal with the matter of a suitable flag for our country. There is presently much confusion about what flag our forces should fly in battle. No longer is the Grand Union flag suitable, for we have dissolved all ties with England. Other flags, for one reason or other, are unsuitable. After much study, it is resolved that the flag of the 13 United States be 13 stripes, alternate red and white, that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field, representing a new constellation.
That should be a pretty sight in the sky.
So be it. So be it.
Many people have heard that Betsy Ross, a seamstress living in Philadelphia about that time, had much to do with designing the Stars and Stripes. But according to facts, it isn't likely that she did. In fact, the American flag came about slowly and not all at once. And even after the Stars and Stripes were decided upon, it took many years before all Americans accepted it. One of the first was Captain John Paul Jones, who was made captain on the same day the Stars and Stripes came into being.
Then we have a new flag, gentlemen. Also, now that we are at war with Britain on land and sea, our Navy needs able captains. Captain John Paul Jones has proven himself beyond doubt. Therefore, resolved that Captain John Paul Jones be appointed to command the ship Ranger.
Captain John Paul Jones was a young man with much bravery and skill. He was to become one of the greatest heroes of the Revolution. And he was to show that ships flying the Stars and Stripes were able to fight with the best of them. When he pulled out of port to sail against British ships, the new American flag flew on the mast.
Captain Jones, the ship and crew are ready for your inspection.
Aye, mate. In a minute. I'll be right up.
I lost my page. Here it is. That flag and I were twins, born in the same hour. We cannot be parted in life or death. So long as we can float, we shall float together. If we must sink, we shall go down as one. That's the Serapis challenging us, Captain. One of Britain's strongest. Has at least 50 guns and a hardened crew.
Yeah, she looks like a mighty ship. And we're just about close enough to fire our cannons.
And close enough for her cannons to hit us, sir.
That's part of it. Are all the men at their posts?
Aye, Captain. Think we can take her?
We shall take her, mate. Remember, we're flying under the Stars and Stripes.
Captain, we're taking water in the hold. Can hardly see through the smoke. Our ship is finished sinking.
We'll not give up. Steer her alongside the Serapis. We can't outmatch her guns, but man for man we can outfight her sailors.
And their fire has knocked over our flag, sir. Shall I see about getting it up again?
No, not for the moment. Just keep it safe. All right, men. Get our ship right alongside her. That's it. And prepare to board.
Hey, Captain, the English captain wants a word with you. See there, by the rail.
I'm Captain Jones.
Do you give up, Captain Jones?
Give up, you say? I have not yet begun to fight. Storm her, lads.
And within minutes, the Stars and Stripes were flying over the English ship Serapis. What Captain Jones had done by his heroic courage was to strengthen the United States and the freedom that it wanted. But the commander of America's land forces was having a tougher time of it. During the cold, terrible winter of 1777 to 78, George Washington tried to hold his army together. Some deserted, some grew sick, and some died.
Sir, General Washington,
Yes, what is it?
2 more men have deserted, and half of the ones remaining are barely able to get about, let alone fight.
What can I do? I've sent dozens of messages to Congress for help. We're down to our last provisions. Look at you, soldier. Your feet are bleeding. Are there no boots left?
No, sir. But it's all right. I'm doing all right.
What kind of army can we have that is unfed, dressed in rags? If it wasn't for the hope we have for a free country with liberty and justice...
That's what'll keep us going, sir. As long as we can see our flag flying free over us, we'll manage somehow.
That's the spirit, lad. Thanks.
The revolution went on for 8 years. Then, in 1783, the fighting ended, and Britain recognized the United States of America as a free country. Everywhere, Americans began to put up their new flag. Soon, the 13 red and white stripes and 13 stars were flying over all 13 states.
Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maryland, South Carolina, New Hampshire, Virginia, New York, North Carolina, Rhode Island.
A star and a stripe for each of the 13 states. But in a few years, Vermont and Kentucky became states too. A new law was passed that said the flag must now have 15 stripes and 15 stars. This was the flag that a lawyer named Francis Scott Key was so anxious about in 1812 as he watched the bombardment of Fort McHenry by the British. A new war had started between the United States and Britain. The British had burned Washington and were on their way to do the same with Baltimore. Francis Scott Key was watching the bombardment from a British ship where he had gone to try to gain freedom for his friend who was captured in Washington.
Certainly, Mr. Key. You and your friend can have your freedom as soon as this siege of Baltimore is over.
It can be over 2 ways, Captain. And you know which way I'm praying for.
It'll take more than prayers to see Fort McHenry through this bombardment. Look at all those fires in the fort. Our shells are reaching their target right on. Soon the fort will fall, and with it Baltimore, and then your great new country. Nothing can withstand the British Navy. Excuse me, gentlemen, but I must attend to this business of winning a war. Mate, more powder next time in the starboard cannons. Let's really light up these American skies.
Winning or losing, William, I'd rather be at Fort McHenry right now helping with the guns, even though it looks a lot safer right where we are.
You think McHenry has a chance against such a bombardment, Francis? Doesn't seem likely.
If McHenry falls, so does Baltimore, just like Washington, burnt by the British. But look, the stars and stripes are still flying over the fort.
Yes, still flying, bravely. Will it be there by morning? Oh, I pray it will, Francis. Look, the British are readying the longboats for an attack by land.
They plan to strike under cover of darkness. I think they'll not have an easy time of it, no matter what they do. Our boys are determined and brave. It's midnight. I can't sleep.
At a time like this, who can? What's that, Francis? Did you get a glimpse of it?
I think I did. In the cannon's glare. The stars and stripes are still flying. The Americans are holding.
Look! Here come the British longboats. A bedraggled lot of soldiers. I guess the McHenry boys gave them a fight for their money.
Now then, you men, let's move the ships closer. We'll blast that fort into the sea.
Can they take it? Can they take it, Francis?
Take it. Look, the flag is still flying. I just saw it for a moment in the rocket's flare. The rocket's red glare. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, give proof through the night that our flag is still there.
The words crowded into Francis Scott Key's mind even as the bombardment continued. But before dawn, the bombardment of Fort McHenry ceased. Still on the bridge of the ship, the 2 Americans watched anxiously to see if the fort still stood, if the stars and stripes still flew freely.
I can't see anything. Can you, William?
Not a thing, I'm afraid. Do you think?
That the British have won? I don't know. Look, dawn is coming. Soon we'll know.
Is that it? What? Over the fort. Is it our flag?
Let's see. It's hard to tell in this darkness, but yes. That looks like the stripe. Yes, it is. It's the stars and stripes still flying.
Still flying, thank God. And look, there are no ships nearby except this one. The rest are sailing away. The British have been withstood, Francis.
Thank God we still have a chance. William, do you have a piece of paper on you?
Paper? Yes, I think so. Here, not much. Just an old envelope.
That's fine. I don't want to forget the words. Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does the star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
America's national anthem had begun, although it would be a few years before it would catch on. Then, on March 3rd, 1931, Congress would officially make it the national anthem. No longer frightened by European powers, the United States of America grew rapidly. By 1860, there were 33 states and 33 stars in the flag with 13 stripes. But a conflict was brewing which threatened to erase many of those stars. The conflict would become the Civil War between the southern states and the northern states. The battle that finally set the powder keg on fire took place at Fort Sumter in South Carolina. For 2 days, the soldiers held out bravely against the Southern troops. But then they could fight no longer.
We can't hold out any longer.
I know. We're just about out of ammunition. So many men wounded. But our flag is still there. Torn by cannon fire, almost shot away. We can't let the rebels have it.
Then let's get it down.
Good. They may get this fort, but they won't get our flag.
Quickly, boost me up. The rebels are breaking through.
We'll have to find a good hiding place for it.
The ragged flag was safely hidden, and although the fort fell to the rebellious soldiers, the flag was kept safe. 4 years later, the Civil War ended. Once again, the stars and stripes flew over the entire United States of America, giving hope to Americans of all races, all colors. There were 35 states by then, and 35 stars on the flag. Soon other stars were added as new states were formed. When the Civil War ended, there was a boy growing up named Robert E. Peary, about 9 years of age. He dreamed about faraway places, great adventures and explorations. He dreamed of the stars and stripes flying over new territory, territory such as the North Pole, where man had never been. Several times before, Peary had tried to reach the North Pole, but each time blizzards, shortage of food and fuel, and many other dangers made him turn back. But on April 5th, 1909, Peary and his companions were only 35 miles away from the North Pole.
You think we can make it all the way tomorrow, Matthew?
If the weather remains as good as now, yes. There's still enough food for us and the dogs. And our Eskimo friends are willing.
At last! We're here at the North Pole, my dream and goal for 20 years. All worth it. Yet, it's so hard to believe.
But
But where can we fly our flag?
Why, we'll build a small hill with ice blocks, and from the top we'll fly the Stars and Stripes.
Soon, from the top of the ice pinnacle, the flag of the United States flew in the wind. It was a flag that Mrs. Perry had made for her husband a long time before, and which he had taken on every attempt to reach the North Pole. And now, on April 6th, 1909, it was flying from the top of the world. Perry and his companions gave 3 hearty cheers.
Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray!
Then they returned, reaching the first place of civilization on September 6th, 5 months later. Immediately, Perry telegraphed back home the message,
Stars and Stripes nailed to the North Pole.
5 years later, the telegraph brought other news from across the ocean. Once again, the world was at war. And in 1917, the United States entered World War I. Soon the Stars and Stripes was flying over Europe, a symbol of freedom rather than conquest. The American boys, and millions from other lands also, fought a war to end all wars. And the Stars and Stripes flew over the fields where thousands of young men gave their lives for that hope. But it was a short-lived hope. Soon there was another great war, World War II, and the United States was in the war against Germany and Japan, in Europe and in the Pacific. Finally, the war was ended. But the world faced even greater threats of war with the atomic bomb and other modern weapons. Men from many countries sought to avoid this. The Stars and Stripes was soon to fly with the flags of many other nations at the United Nations.
We, the peoples of the United Nations, determined to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war, which twice
in our lifetime has brought untold sorrow to mankind, and to reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person, in the equal rights of men and women and of nations large and small, and to
Establish conditions under which justice and respect for the obligations arising from treaties and other sources of international law can be maintained,
and to promote social progress and better standards of life and larger freedom.
The United Nations was the hope of the world's peoples to avoid more wars and to have better lives without hunger, fear, and suffering. The American people have pledged themselves to accomplishing this, and their flag flies proudly with those of other nations at the United Nations headquarters in New York City.
To practice tolerance and live together in peace with one another as good neighbors, and to unite
our strength to maintain international peace and security, and to employ international machinery for the promotion of the economic and social advancement of...
On July 16th, 1969, Apollo 11 was within seconds of taking off for the moon. On board were Neil Armstrong, the commander, and Edwin Aldrin and Michael Collins. There was also the Stars and Stripes that was destined for the moon.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Over 100 hours later, the lunar module Eagle was readying to land on the moon.
Altitude 4200. Houston, you're a go for landing, over. Roger, understand. Go for landing. 3,000 feet. 2,000 feet. 2,000 feet. Into the ag, 47 degrees. Looking great. Your go. 4 forward. Drift into the right a little. 30 seconds. Contact light. Okay, engine stop. APA at a descent. Auto descent. Mode control both auto descent, engine command override off. Engine arm off. Port 13 is in.
We copy you down, Eagle.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
And so it was, 193 years from the birth of the United States, the new nation had sent a man to the moon and its flag.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Soon after landing, Armstrong and Aldrin erected a 3-by-5-foot American flag. The Stars and Stripes was on the moon. In less than 200 years, it had seen hundreds of battles for survival. It had flown above armies and ambassadors in many lands. Under its stars and stripes, millions fought for freedom, and millions gave their lives for what it stood for.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What will be the story of the Stars and Stripes tomorrow? Next year? 10 years from now? It depends on us. It is only as strong as the people of America. It should always stand for liberty, justice, love for all people, whether in the United States or elsewhere. It should make us feel thankful and humble, ready to share our blessings with others. For this is
the spirit of the Stars and Stripes.